Hey, so we're on our way back home, and this is, I guess, part of the series of my San Francisco trip. And I want to talk about getting raises. In my career as a manager for many years, spent over 20 years in retail, had my own business for a few years, and then managed a lot of people, especially in my last stint. But I want to talk about how I normally worked with people to get them raises. One of the things I always focused on was hiring people with the understanding that a raise will come sooner or later, but there are very certain specific goals that need to be met or guidelines that I would always tell them they need to keep in mind so that they can have a higher probability of getting the raise. Now, a lot of times I did not control raises, a lot of times I did, but when it comes to whether or not I controlled it, there are very specific things that should always be focused on, and these are the things I want to focus on and go over. First and foremost, I would tell everybody, as soon as you got a new job, one of the things you want to do is to see what you can do to make a big win. And what do I mean by that? Means basically, what is something you can do as soon as you get a new job that you can do that will have a positive impact on the company, whether it'll be profits or time saving, just all in general, in productivity, all in all, what is the one thing that you can do pretty quickly that can really help the company make their money back on your salary? And that's one thing you always have to think about is you are there getting hired, and there is a specific ROI for your labor that the company wants to get. So I usually tell somebody, if you're getting a $50,000 a year salary, you should be making the company at least $500,000, either in saved productivity or in profits or in gross, bringing in that kind of money just so that they can cover your wages. And if you're exceeding that by leaps and bounds, then you have a big win. You can actually go ahead and ask for a raise or justify one, right? But I want to hone in on the fact that it's not only about big wins, although that really does help especially when you first get a job, but it is also about making sure that you're working hard to do the things that need to get done, and that you get not recognized so much. I mean, that it is being seen, the changes are being made, or that you're making an impact. And even something as little as smiling, if you're in customer service, a little more, or getting more feedback from customers if you're maybe say tech support on the phone, or just getting praises from clientele for basically those that you are being served, that you're serving. These are the things that make a difference that people will start to recognize, especially your bosses, those who control the raise. You want to make sure that you're making the company look better. The other thing is you always want to try to do anything you possibly can to make your manager's job easier. When you make your manager's job easier, you become one, more valuable, not only monetarily, but also more valuable as an employee, that you're less likely to want to lose you, right? So you do these type of work or activities to make sure that you are proving that you belong there and that you're making yourself worthwhile. I just came off of coming from a graduation commencement, and there was a guy named Kyle Greenman who was up there. He was one of the students that has graduated, and he made a really good statement. He says, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. And I really stood out so much that I even wrote it down. And he also made another one, is that you get out what you put in. So the harder, of course, the more you put out of yourself, the more you'll get back. And it really is just all about working hard and making sure that you're making a good impression. The other thing I want to say is, if you get an opportunity to take on projects, to do things that will be recognized by not only your immediate supervisor, but your managers, but even maybe company owners, then you definitely want to go in and take projects on that can get you exposure to the bosses. And these are the little things. In the morning, if you get a chance to walk by the bosses, say hello. Doesn't matter if you're 5 levels deep, 10 levels deep. Say hello, say good morning, smile. I've never found an executive typically to take offense that I'm saying hi to them. I mean, who doesn't want a happy employee, right? That's the kind of thing. Get recognized by just being recognizable, not just being silent and hidden in the corner. And in the past, I had a lot of those. Oh, I'm shy, I don't want to. Who am I to talk to the big bosses, the owners of these big corporations? But the fact is, they're human too, and they like to be acknowledged by being told hello and good morning as well. These are the little things. Saying thank you. I come from a company that actually fed us every single Friday, and I always tried to make sure I went out of my way to find the boss and say thank you for lunch, because that's really something they did not need to do. If they took it away, it'd be sad, but it wouldn't be something I thought that I deserved. I mean, it was a privilege, and I saw his once. I thanked him, and you know what was kind of sad is in the end when I was leaving, he said I was the only one that always told him thank you. That's one thing he'd miss, and they treated me really well all in all. Don't get me wrong, I love the company, love where I was at, but the whole thing is they treated me really well is because I went out of my way to do everything I possibly can to make big wins for the company, to make sure that all of the people I hired in also did whatever they could to make big wins, so they got recognized, they excelled, and it was just all of these, all in all, that just really made a big difference. So I encourage you to take this to heart. The last thing I want to say, I know this is going a little long, but the last thing I want to say is know what your value is, because sometimes the best way to get a raise is to know that you're worth more and you go out and pursue getting more. I'm not saying you have to leave your company, but one way to actually get a raise is if your company is not recognizing you for the value you are and you actually are applying somewhere else and you get another job that pays 10, 15, 20% more, then at that point when you are getting the job offer, you can let them know that maybe you're worth an extra 25, 30% more, that you don't want to leave. But that the fact is that you should be getting more. And this is because I want to say that you need to be aggressive to be moving ahead with your careers and doing whatever you can to go ahead and just excel. I'm encouraging you to do that. I know each and every single one of you can do a better job at whatever you're doing or get paid more. We just have to know the right strategies, and one way is to just make sure that you're recognizable by the work you're doing. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear your comments. Has this worked for you in the past? Have you seen something like this, or the little things? Share your stories, because those have been really cool. Thank you guys so much for sharing so many of your comments. If this has been helpful, I hope I have earned your subscription. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.